The operation we run here at Etiwanda, it's centred around a grazing business, focused on the white dorper sheep, cattle and goats, and they've been moved around the property at various stages. It's on the Cobar Penny Plain, so it's typically hard red setting country with a huge climatic variation. Ranges from 100 mil to up closer to over 900 mils, in those wetter years. So there's a huge variation in rainfall, and when it comes and when it doesn't come. So the grazing principles are based on the holistic management principles and the holistic management decision-making process. So it's focused on maintaining ground cover. We'd like to see it, over 70% and getting as high as possible. Sometimes that's not always possible. We try and graze each area once in the growing period, and then once or twice in the non-growing period. And the non-growing period can be up to 18 months out here. So. We've used goats to manage the Invasive scrub in places. We also use the cattle for ground disturbance. They're very good for breaking that hard cap up, giving the water a chance to get back into the soil, not just run off, which is a real problem in the penny plain. And also the cattle are very good in those bigger, high rainfall years to be able to harvest the huge biomass that does grow and cycle that and put it back on the ground. And then the white dorpers are just the centrepiece of the operation, and they do very well in this country. They're very well suited. So
we've changed away from a wool producing enterprise into white dorper sheep. So a low maintenance animal that much more suited to the semi-arid environment. We travelled to South Africa in 2000 to actually look for some embryos from boar goats that we were involved at that point. We were driving around to the various boar goat studs, and on the bus we were looking out the window to quite similar country to what you see here now, and we saw all these sheep that were in remarkably good condition on obviously very dry country that looked like rocks and a small bush out the window, and we said, oh, what are they? And so instead of coming home with a can of boar goat embryos, we came home with a can of white dorper embryos, and that was our start.
The infrastructure that's been put on Etiwanda and Manuka and Wairee in the last 15 years is over 200 kilometres of TGP fencing, as well as electric subdivision fencing. We've also put in sheep and cattle yards and laneways to make stock handling a lot more efficient, so that one person can handle large numbers of stock quickly and easily and minimal fuss. There's a huge return on your investment. It's just getting over that hurdle, and that's where the CMA funding rounds have played a huge role in giving people that opportunity to get over that hurdle and get started. Well, the pivotal thing that really pushed us forward was the 2002 drought. We were faced with a pretty dire situation, so we had to really look long and hard at what we were doing. We knew we had to fence more country and change our enterprises. We
marketed the operation around being a low input enterprise based in Western New South Wales. We firmly believe that enterprises need to be low input to be sustainable and be able to carry on for the future generations. So we were riding on the bikes one day, Andrew and I, and we're trying to think about how to market it, and we were zigzagging behind sheep as you do, and I rode over to him and I said, oh, what about the words rangeland ready? And he said, oh, yeah, that's really good. So that sort of conjures up images of, the sheep are ready, they're off the range, they're ready to go out into the rangelands of Western New South Wales, and that they've been fed on grass, they're not grain fed, they're easy care. So from there we just sort of developed those words into a logo with a sheep's head, and have used that on all of our marketing promotional gear, and it's really been quite successful, quite catchy.
My grandfather, he came here in 1949 as a soldier settler on a 25,000 acre block, which wasn't enough to run a viable operation. Mum and Dad built it up to a viable size. They ran a set stock merino operation, which is what the recommendation at the time was. Ran a very good operation, but they were very supportive of when we brought these new ideas to them, and they trained as part of the Land Crew group and went through it with us and supported us in our endeavours to look at new ideas and implement change and to change the enterprise.
Andrew's an extremely deep thinker and will think things through very carefully, not always tell his wife exactly what he's thinking. It's one of those things that's evolved with time. We bought the Dorpers and saw how well they went and took the next step and put a few more embryos in, and certainly it's been planned, but it's also, you know, followed its path as well. But it's been enjoyable, and we've learned a lot, met a lot of great people, and it's funded a pretty nice lifestyle for us as well.
We're still learning. We're not there by a long shot, but it's been taken from ideas from the holistic management and Alan Savory's textbook. But the principles of HM definitely have a big role to play in regenerating this country and getting it healthy again, and making a profitable business in this Western country as we can do. Probably the first step is fencing. It's probably the quickest return. Then, as finances allow, the next step is INS control. You can get productivity back up to sheep to a hectare, sheep to 2.5 acres. If you can run those sort of numbers, you can run a viable farm on the Makoto peneplain. It's getting those broadleaf native perennials back into the environment and maintaining them, and decreasing the INS domination. I've been driving this morning and I haven't seen anything anywhere near as good as what we've got here at the moment. We've got grass that's 10 inches high, sort of thing, off one rain event. Whereas in an annual based pasture, we need another rain to really get feed. When we started out, we'd fence a paddock, and we're working on getting that money back within 12 to 18 months. With the clearing costs, returns a bit slower. You're probably looking at 2 to 3 years. The social side effects, I suppose, of this development program is that we've now got an operation that I can run on my own, or put someone in place to run it, give me free time. If we hadn't have done it, well, we wouldn't have a viable business. This area needs people. We need people in it, managing the land and running viable businesses. If you manage your ground cover and your native perennial grasses, look after the health of those and focus on those, you'll get there in the end. If you can develop what you've got and run it better, run the animals better, it's a lot easier than having a bigger area to look after. There's huge opportunity. There's still a fair bit more work to do, but there's certainly a huge opportunity, and there's a big future that I see.